Cute, sexy, and fun. You're watching CSF Nation's own WMK TV, Channel 90.
All right, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, we are live. All right. Good morning, CSF Nation. I'm Makini, your Sherman Illustrator, and it is Hump Day here on Makini in the morning. Hope you guys are doing well today. Don't mind me. I'm just sending the links out to everyone because everybody is posting right now. Well, because I forgot to send the links out. So, but you guys voted after a poll that I was up at that I just kind of woke up at 2 a.m. for. You guys voted, and today we will be working on the Gyaru Girls. This time we're going to be doing we're going to be working on the lighting, actually, getting the lighting, everything together. I think today we'll just be focused on the lighting as well as the backlighting, possibly. We have a lot of lighting to do. As you can see here, I already set some of the lighting layers to like 3 of the girls already, so I need to add the skin. We're doing the skin first, and I'll go over my process over there, and then we'll go into the hair. We'll have the hair, and then the clothing and jewelry, and then accessories last. So we'll try to do all that within today's show. Anyway, we got 3 people watching. I know more people will start popping in real soon. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys have been freaking amazing. If you guys can do me a favor.
Hey, if you're enjoying this program, please smack that like button and make it jiggle.
And smack that subscribe button if you want to see more art content from Makini. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the show.
Later.
Thank you. Smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle, guys. Really appreciate all of the support. Let's go ahead and turn the audience on. Let's go ahead and turn the turn the volume up, and let's turn the music up. All right, there we go. We are good to go. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat, and we will go right into it. So, power. What we got 2 versions of power here. I wonder if this is power from another alternate timeline. Okay. It's probably a second account. Good morning, Power. And DOJ, good morning also. Allow me to celebrate because I can't convey my excitement today because you guys know what today is. Not only is it Hump Day, it is official release day for Stellar Blade, the PC launch, the Nikkei DLC, all of that good stuff. I can't play yet, so I have it preloaded. It's already preloaded on my PC. All I gotta do is I just have to wait until they allow us to hit that play button. So I checked the PS5. The update hasn't dropped yet. I'm assuming it's probably gonna be later this morning. But just watch as my feed is going to be blowing up. As the YouTube feed is going to be blown up with the entire playthrough, with different playthroughs, going through all the costumes, stuff like that, all the new stuff in the updates. I can't wait. And then, of course, tomorrow is the Stellar Blade collaboration in Nikkei, which they have been pumping the hell out like crazy. I've been seeing all the new units and stuff like that. What they're adding is going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. By the way, if you're playing Nikkei, it's going to be Eve and Raven are SSR, and Lily is an SR. And I think Lily might be free. I'm double check with that. Lily might be a free SR character, but they look freaking amazing. And Eve's probably got one of the best shooting animations. One of the best shooting animations too. So crazy stuff. I'm very much looking forward to today. This is gonna be a fun show today. I will try my best to not like. Well, I'll probably mess around with the PS5 version before I touch the PC version this weekend. I'll save it for the PC version. I'll save the PC version for this weekend. So, but still waiting for. I do want to get a physical release of Stellar Blade, the complete edition for PS5 when that drops. So, yeah, a lot. I mean, a lot today. I'm very excited about that. Okay, go ahead. Listen, I'm just sending my links, and we are ready to rock. Glad I can see and hear the stream. It's a Moist Critical meme. Exactly. Woo, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I forgot what it was called. Maybe I could use that. Maybe I'll probably make a clip of that. I'll probably get a clip of that. I'll need to add it to my meme clips. I agree. There's nothing wrong with polishing up your skills before you play PC version. Well, I could try the Nikkei DLC on the PS5 version in the meantime. And yeah, I can polish up my skills there and stuff like that. And then got the PC version, all that good stuff. Now, Pump, good morning to you. Now, before we begin on the Gyarus, one more thing I want to share with y'all. And that is, so thank you all. First off, I want to say thank you guys. I was going to save this one for later, but I am doing the background for this Miyabi drawing. And if you look closely, you can see Jane. And if you look even further into the horizon, and I know it's like hard to very pixelated when you zoom in, that is supposed to be Ellen's tail. So the idea is I'm gonna have multiple characters in the background. So I've probably got 3 more characters because I want to do Nekomata, Sokaku, and Ambi playing in the water. And what that's going to happen, the way I'm going to do this is that I'm going to make this, and Neo J saw the post before I took it down, but I am going to make this an ongoing thing throughout this month. Throughout this month, it's going to be an ongoing series. So I will put up a poll next on who would you guys like to see in the next in this continuation of the harem, basically the wise harem meme going on in Zenless. So I like this idea. I did see the DM. I did see the book. I did see that. I'm looking forward to it. So today I'll be continuing the background, and then today I'll be continuing the background and hopefully get to the lighting, hit the actual work on the lighting at first. And channel members are going to get two variations of this, one with the sarong and one without the sarong. So I'll be working on some different variations for that. So just want to give you guys an update on the obby because you guys really came out in droves for that. I think I have like 150 likes on the community post. And speaking of community posts, I got to shout you guys out one more time because holy crap. 80 the people are still voting. Oh, I got 18 votes. Wow. Oh wow, I got 18 votes. Okay. I got 18 votes on the poll I made earlier this morning. But 100, holy crap. 101 votes on the next super chat. 101 votes. Like, oh my God. Just wow. And 101 votes and 54% wants the next super chat to be Bernice. We got a lot of Bernice fans in this. I do wonder, I do wonder within my audience. I think we need to gauge my audience who's a fan of who. Jane Doe at close second, which she's coming. I am genuinely surprised that there was not much demand for a Yizhuan cross edit. So she's the current banner right now, and of course, me and Eli got her, but y'all want Bernice. So, all right, Bernice super chat will be up next. So I'll need to start recording. I'm gonna try to start recording this week. So, awesome. I still gotta make a video. I still gotta talk about videos, and also, thanks for the feedback on the post Monday. Because I opted to not do a video on the whole relooted thing, but I might have to reconsider. After I was watching Demion's video, and he was pointing out that the whole African artifact situation, it's actually half and half. Actually, both sides of the aisle are correct in that the artifacts were stolen, and that also the artifacts were also donated as well. However, one glaring issue that Demion pointed out was that the side that was correct about and good morning, Penny. The side that was correct about the African artifacts being stolen, they were actually stolen by African militia groups. Actually, I'll probably pull a link to Demion's video because he actually breaks it down, the entire situation. It turns out it was actually African militia groups, majority of African militia groups that stole the artifacts, whereas within Western, such as like Western Europe and such like that, they are willing to give those artifacts back. And the game is pointing the finger at the Western Europe, who is willing to give the artifacts back, who is openly willing to give those artifacts back. So this sounds like not addressing the elephant in the room, and basically pointing the blame at Western countries, or specifically, let's just blame white people again. I think at that I think in that angle, I think my blind rage I think my blind rage I I think my where my issues will probably lie there, and I think that might be worth giving my own opinions on that. Devion did that research. Yes, I will. It is very confusing, but now it's starting to clear up, and you're just using Western countries as a target when in reality it's not the Western countries are actually willing to give those artifacts back to you, back to Africa. So yeah, that in that angle, I might be able to make that into a video, be able to kind of talk about that. But also, as I told you, Neo J, I side with I'm more on the lines with Kata, Khalil Too Short, um, in that in that um this is too much. This is more like stereotyping. There's too much like stereotyping going on here. And I think in general, people are sick of it. And I think in general, black people are in a way might be sick of it too, of just the blatant stereotyping. Because when you kind of put it in that sense, it is this game is a stereotype. And you know, it's so that I might be able to kind of provide my thoughts on that angle because I was worried that if I went off in the video, it would feel like it's blind rage and that there's no direction I would take. And it feels like I'm just pointing at everything and not having a clear sense of like understanding of the situation. I'm not surprised, Neo J. I am not surprised. And you know what? I might reconsider. Like I said, I might reconsider because I do think I probably have I might reconsider in that I think I do have a voice. I think I do have a voice. I think I do have something. I think I do have a perspective that that I want to that I want to provide on this discussion. Just my, I guess, or just speak from the heart, because that's all I can do. That's the best I can do is speak from the heart, you know. Like for example, that Matt Hansen video that got me to 3K, that was not blind rage. Like I was looking it up. Like I was looking it up, watching a ton of videos on the subject matter. I was looking up that tweet and I was like, yeah, there was nothing that I took out of context from that. So yeah, this is a Boondocks episode waiting to happen. This is a I think Aaron Magruder is a bit is a bit of a Nostradamus when it comes to here because how many things did he get right? How many things let's be honest here. Chat. Chat, I want to ask you, how many things did the Boondocks get correct? We're 100% right on. Put it in the comments. List off how many things that the Boondocks got correct. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. They were predicting all this shit. And the whole thing with that, from this perspective, if it's came from just like let me go and get started. Let's go ahead and get started and I'll let's go and get started on the lighting and everything and I'll just talk my way through this. No, oh sorry. No Pomodoro clock today, so we'll just kind of work through the hour and a half that we have with hour and a half, and it probably helps because I'm watching one of the YouTubers that I follow is Akalon TV, and he's from South Africa, and he is gone into all of the ish that has been going on in South Africa lately, especially with the whole pushing out the white farmers and shit like that. So he's been really covering that, especially with the South African government and just how kind of corrupt that government is. So it's very interesting stuff. And for some people who are somebody was asking about me, and if you are listening, I live in the Bay Area, so I'm way further up north from the absolute the riots, because it's a blatant riots. These are blatant riots going on. The blatant riots are going on in Los Angeles right now. So to all my SoCal viewers, just stay safe out there, man. It's just stay safe, please. SoCal viewers. I probably get plenty, and I know we got for example, like Smash JT, Smash JT is in San Diego. God, who else? God, who else? I think I probably have a couple. I probably have a couple of SoCal viewers. So just SoCal. It's just the LA and Paris. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the LA and Paris stuff is just absolutely crazy. It's just really insane, man. I completely forgot about the shit going on in Paris. Okay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Thank you so much, Power. So crazy, man. You're just absolutely going to ish, man. Everything's going to ish right now. Oh my god. Anyway, guys, smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle. Let's go ahead and get into the lighting. That's what we're going to start with. Penny, good morning. Music, background music should be up and bumping right now. If it's not, it's muted. Okay, there we go. Background music up and bumping, and we should be good to go. I'm over there with be careful over there. Piece of process. Listen. Piece of process. Okay, that's what you want to call it. Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, that same peaceful protest that was burning down. The same peaceful protest that was burning down cities and burning down cities in Minnesota, right? 5 years ago. That kind of peaceful protest. All I can say is congratulations. But yeah, I agree, man. Stay safe. Oh my god. Man, that whole thing, like that 2020 was an absolute crap show. Like 2020 was let's make no mistake, 2020 was an absolute dumpster fire of a year, and that whole situation just pissed me the F off. It just pissed me the F off, especially when everybody's doing this whole everybody in social media was doing this whole black square crap, and there's this whole thing of other users are getting harassed for not saying anything, speaking up, the whole silence is violence. And I'm like, you can get effed. You can probably get effed. Sorry, that whole thing really pissed me off back then. But you know what? They ain't gonna try. But you know what? We're probably not gonna. This, I guess, is the 2025 Summer of Love. I guess. I don't know. I guess if there's any silver linings that people woke up. People finally woke up. People woke up and realized that the organization and movement that you guys have been touting for the past 5 years was nothing but a grift. It was one of the biggest cons in history. So, I guess I was right. I guess you could say retroactively I was right. You can say retroactively I was opposed and justified. I guess retroactively you can say I was justified in opposing that organization from day one. Sorry for going off on a tangent. I apologize. Listen. Power's like listen off. Like I see Power to chat like listen off everything that the Boondocks predicted correctly, and I'm like, this thing like a lot of things. It's the same thing we've been saying for years. I know it's the same we've been saying for years, but it's funny. It's just funny that you know, it's just funny to watch the entire. It's just funny to watch an entire. It's funny to watch an entire community try to rallying behind something that objectively picks and chooses who to protest, what to protest. And that's the thing I absolutely love is the picking and choosing, and in that it's only certain lives matter when it's convenient. Yet. But you don't want to address the elephant in the room. Yeah, it's cold mood at this point. It's just. That's a protest. You know what? That's a protest I will happily get behind. I am Sean. I feel you know, Sean, I can happily go protest. Eastern games matter. Eastern games matter. EGM. I agree. I like that. I like that idea. I like your line of thinking, Sean. Indie games matter. AA games matter. AA games matter. What cease and desist? I mean, what you're saying is that Nintendo should be allocating their cease and desist lawyers onto something actually more tangible, right? Is that what you're saying? Like, it's kind of funny. Like, I think it's funny thing. It's like, I want to say, aside from the Atomic Heart developers, like, I really can't think of a single game from like aside from the Atomic Heart developers, I really can't think of a single game from the West that I was legitimately interested in after all of the showcases from this past weekend. I can't think of a single Western one, you know? It's like all the games that I was excited about are actually from Eastern tile. And here's the funny thing, because Mind's Eye is released, and Mind's Eye is released, and we're gonna speed run. And I'm gonna tell you something about Mind's Eye, okay? It is going to be a speed run on how, and I said this, and you know what, I won't take, I'm not taking anything back when I say Mind's Eye looks like a game. It's a game that looks like the developers will be closing down their studios and massive layoffs in the span of Concord's lifespan, basically. So that's about 2 weeks, if not, and maybe a month, because I still think that game looks like a scam. I still think that game looks like an asset flip on a scam, in my opinion, man. It just, yeah, everything about this seems, something about this seems very rotten in Denmark right now. Yeah, not surprising with the Switch 2. Not surprised with the Switch 2, man, because it's Nintendo. So Nintendo has an install base already. So you have Nintendo fanboys who are going to eat it up regardless. You know? Nintendo, and there's already Joy-Con drift too. There's already Joy-Con drift issues. I was watching a little bit of Fertanga's video yesterday. I need to see Fertanga's video about it, but apparently there's already reports of Joy-Con drifting on the Switch 2, which is, of course. I mean, that's all I can say is, of course it is. Like, what did you expect? Like, what did you expect? What happened, dude? But man, it's Nintendo. They're gonna, but you know what? It's Nintendo, so they're just gonna eat it up. You know, well, proud to them, but you know, Nintendo fans are just gonna eat it up like they always do. Right? I won't say game is completely cooked, but I won't say a game is completely cooked though, because like I said, you have the AA, you have the indies, you have the Eastern titles, you know, picking up the ball for the most part. Right. And granted those it's granted, you know, those are not going to be granted. The East has its own fair share of problems, especially with monetization and all that. It's with how very greedy they are when it comes to monetization. Speaking of which, speaking of monetization and you know, all that good stuff, like Splitgate 2. I'm just gonna Splitgate 2. If you guys heard about apparently the developer, the one who had to make FPS great again. Yeah, he bent the knee. He bent the knee and apologized to black girl gamers. Another garbage consultancy group, just like Sweet Baby Inc. But then again, I just can't see why people would hitch their ride on the Splitgate 2 when, you know, you not only did you have the overpriced DLC. I took a look at those. I took a look at those cosmetics, and they are half-assed. Honestly, like I think my problem is that one of my biggest problems with Splitgate 2 is just the overabundance of pinks and purple, the overabundance of bisexual lighting going on. I'm like, okay, dude. Just and let's be honest, the character models just do not look appealing. And people want to use that excuse of people want to make that excuse of, you know, how your character looks doesn't matter in a first person shooter. Tell that to the audience, tell that to the Overwatch crowd. Tell that to Overwatch. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Cosmetics doesn't matter in a first person shooter. Okay. I mean, that's a cop out. Nice cop out. So I looked at the cosmetics of what. Okay, if cosmetics don't matter in a first person shooter, why are they implementing cosmetics then? Then why should they implement cosmetics? Why shouldn't you implement your character skin? You know? Just saying. If it doesn't matter, apparently. I mean, if cosmetics doesn't matter in a first-person shooter, okay. Tell that to CD Projekt Red. Tell that to everybody who plays Cyberpunk, and tell them that cosmetics don't matter. Okay. I mean, in the first-person shooter, it doesn't matter. Okay, so okay, then what's the point of implementing them in the first place then? I love that. I love that. And let's be honest here, Splitgate cosmetics do not look good. Do not look appealing to me at all. And I'm like, really? This? Like, really? You're hatching your ride onto this here? You made a fatal mistake. You made a fatal mistake in trying to compare in taking shots at Call of Duty, taking shots at Call of Duty in Titan, you know, Call of Duty, and like bringing up Titanfall, which in a sense you're correct, but that's not how you promote your game. You shouldn't be promoting your game like that by comparing it to other titles. I get the sentiment, I really do, but that's just a bad look. And it gets the sense that that whole him wearing that hat was just a stunt. It was just a stunt to grab attention. Well, guess what? That attention backfired on you. Because you end up pissing a lot of people. Because you end up pissing people off too. I was like, I was really considering making a video on that too, just because of how much of a joke that is. Hey JSW, good to see you. We're working on. I'm just rambling for a little bit. We're doing the chat voted that I would do the lighting on. The chat voted that we continue the Gyaru Girls. I am on the lighting right now, so I'm just about done with the skin. Yeah, I'm just about done with the skin, and then the next thing we're gonna start is the hair. So we're doing the lighting layer for all of doing the lighting layer finally. We're getting close. We're definitely getting close to finishing this, although I still have a bit more to do. I still have a bit more details to input. And apologize if I go on this rambling too. He seems like a humble individual. I'm sure he does, but I am very sure he does. But this is a bad look. I'm not sure what you were trying to achieve here. Like, we get what you're trying to achieve here, but it backfired on you, man. Especially when you take one look at the game, you're just like, when you take one look at the cosmetics, and I'm like, really? Look, I get it's overpriced, but really? This cosmetics look weak as hell to me, man. These cosmetics do not appeal to me whatsoever. Oh my god. Okay. So we got the skin. So we got the skin done. Next up is the hair. I realize that I know you guys come here for the art. You guys are here for the art. You guys are here for the stuff like that. That's just stuff like that. I appreciate that. It's just I've noticed. I think I'm being a little too hard. I think I've noticed I'm being a very I'm I'm noticing that I'm starting to become a little more harsh lately. I think I'm starting to just be like, okay. I'm starting to be a little more, rip the Band-Aid off. Rip the freaking Band-Aid off, because this ish. Yeah, good morning, Grumpy. This ish is stupid, man. I think I'm starting to be a little. I think I might just take y'all's advice and be a bit more harsher in some of my opinions now, because this ish ain't it. This ish ain't it, and like. And I'm hoping by the end of this week, and I'm hoping at this point you guys have finally understand why I hitched my ride, why I've been so supportive of Shift Up lately. And I hope you guys finally understand why. Yes. I might have to make a video. I might make a video on that too. And Shift Up is in a lot of trouble too, especially with Nika, especially with how they're handling the DLC situation with Nika and Stellar Blade lately. Apparently, it's just. Hold on a second. Let me get this. Let me get the combos. Let me get the combos. Where's the hair? Skin. Where's the hair? Okay. Girls, hairpin. You guys are really. I'm glad. I can't take this thing to. One other thing, I can't take this to work anymore. I can't take this file to work because I'm noticing that my Clip Studio series, because this is actually a 2 gigabyte file. This is a big file, actually. I checked. This is like 2.5 gigabytes, and it is slow. And there's not much storage on my on my main card in Clips on my tablet. So Clip Studio Paint always slows down whenever I'm trying to work on this file. Like when it comes to I always get that memory usage icon pop up. And the stores pop up because of how big this file is. Yeah, this is a big file. It's like, So I definitely need to be careful. So that's why I'm just working on this here now. I'm just working on this on my main PC moving forward. So. Versus trying to take this thing with me, because that's where the problems start causing up. Because of how big the file is. There's some things that still need to clean up before. Save real quick. Yeah, I gotta wait. This will be available for all channel members. in this month's art batch. I'm gonna be splitting up. I'm going back to splitting up all the pieces again. I'm gonna be going back to splitting up all the pieces again. So certain tiers will have the redraws and stuff like that. Certain tiers will have the certain redraws will be for not for everyone though. But where can you get this? Simple, man. Join the channel. Just become a channel member for Zoltar month. I'm gonna add this Gyaru piece will be for all channel members at the end of this month. So just join the channel and you'll be able to get that. Right, Kitty? Good morning to you. Got a lot of stuff. So yeah, just become a channel member. You will be able to get access to this exclusive, to this and the other art drops that I've been doing all when I've been doing all these past 2 months. The remake, this batch will contain the remake, all of my redraws basically. This batch will contain all my redraws plus the plus this and plus my whole Wise Harem my Wise Harem series, which is that's what I'm gonna end up turning this into. Right, Kitty, I will show you right, Kitty, I'll show you the Miyabi illustration later. Let's get with my I'll show you the Miyabi illustration later because I got some updates on that if you haven't been checking out the community tab this year, which I've been advising everybody to check the community tab. I've been advising everybody to check the community tab. So a Wise Harms. I'll show you. Okay. I'll show you. This peaked. I like this piqued Riot Kitty's interest here. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me more. Okay. Hang on, let me load this up real quick. Let me load this up. So we'll need to continue the hair. So we'll get the hair. I just want to share this real quick with Riot Kitty. And welcome. Okay. Oh, thank you, JSW. Thank you for joining the CSF Nation. At the Ambassador tier, you get access to the exclusive art drops, plus channel member emojis as well. So, thank you so much, JSW. I really appreciate that, man. You've been very active here. I will give you, and you will not only will I give you I will give you a super chat. I'll give you a super chat, but first, let's all give a hearty CSF Nation salute to JSW. Welcome to the cute, sexy, and fun nation. So. It's sexy and fun nation. Okay, so Riot Kitty. So it all started with the Nicole one. It all started with the Nicole. I was like, okay, I figured Nicole would be like a good start, like a good kind of way to get into the summer swimsuit selection. And I thought it would be funny to put of course, it'd be funny to put images of Chibi Wise and Chibi Miyabi, because it is all based off of that one cutscene of Nicole having to give medical assistance to Nicole and Miyabi having to give medical assistance to Wise as he crashes into the hollow in the later chapters. So I thought about that cutscene, and what happened next gave me an idea, and I asked the chat about it. I was like, what if I do the next illustration should be from Miyabi's perspective now? And So the next illustration next illustration I'm working on right now is this is from Miyabi's point of view now. This is from Miyabi's reaction. And this one I finished yesterday. This one I'm still working on it. I still have a lot to do here. So with oh my god, let me put this out here. So with Miyabi, and I think you're gonna like this. So Miyabi's reaction, and I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna copy and paste Wise's reaction over to Miyabi's next, and then I'm gonna copy Nicole's reaction, Chibi Nicole at the very bottom. But here's the thing, I came up with this idea because if you could see in the background, because I'm working on the background, there's some subtle hints that I want to put in here. First off, you can see Jane. You can see Jane in the background. You can squint and see Ellen's tail. I'm going to have Nakamata, Ambi, and Takaku over in this picture, over in this side of the picture. So I thought to myself, let's make this a series here, where it's Miyabi then. Then I think the next shot, and I think in my mind I have the next shot. I would like to do Ellen and Astra next. And Ellen, Astra, and Evelyn next. Then probably Jane after that. And the whole idea is just to play on the whole harem idea and make it so that it's Belle is the one who's kind of orchestrating all of this. Because, little sister looking out, right? But I thought to take it a step further. I thought about taking it a step further. I thought it would be funny if I could include girls from the other gacha games that I play, like Nikke and Snowbreak, in this whole series. And even Stellar Blade. It's just like a funny little Wise has such that riz that he's able to attract characters from other realities. Not really, but it's kind of a funny in-joke. So, but little sister, wait. That's what it feels like. Is your wingman. If you play as Wise, your little sister's basically your wingman. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I'm like, man, these interactions work so well with Wise. I'm like, I love it. I find this so hilarious. I'm like, you know what? I'm going into it. That's how you get involved. You get involved in the Hoyoverse fandom without getting involved in the Hoyoverse fandom. That's how I see it. Because it's so blatant. Oh, it's okay. Thank you, Jay. What's got that peanut butter in? And the best part is the thing I love about it is that Wise is so dumbfounded by all this. Wise is completely has no clue. So I'm gonna copy and paste that image into every single drawing this month to get the idea that Wise can't take the hint. I love it. Oh man, okay. So yeah, that's what we're working on. Next. So yeah, so if there's any characters you would like to see in this whole little series that I'm doing, let me know. because it's so funny when I do this. It's so much fun when I do this. I'm having fun doing this. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, JSW. Thank you so much, man. Damn it. Damn it, Riot. Damn it, Riot. You got me back into this game. Y'all got me back. Y'all got me back. Oh, there you go. And by the way, Riot, Bernice won by 101 votes. There's a total of 101 votes in that poll, and Bernice won by like 54%. By like 54%. Bernice won by over 54%. And that's over 101 votes. And I'm like, man, you guys want Bernice next. Even Mama Bear was like, can you do... Even Mama Bear was asking for Bernice to be next after Nicole. Oh my god, I love it. I love it. It's you know what? I'm like, you know what? I legitimately am having fun with that game. And I legitimately am having fun with that game. I'm just kind of fun with the fandom and stuff like that. And it is the... and it is the... Zenless is the... It's the Gooner game. It is the Gooner game in the Hoyoverse lineup. It is point blank the Gooner game for on the Hoyoverse lineup, but I also think that it's also the one game that gets the most amount of care, that the developers actually really do care about the game as well. Like, it's one that's really has that, like, almost just kind of like that dark horse in a way. Like I don't think it should be as, like, me personally, I think I think it's perfect the way it is. Like, don't go into, I would change the 50-50, obviously. I would change the 50-50 in kind of the grind aspect, but I would keep Zenless the way it is. I would keep Zenless in that perfect spot of not being the big seller as, say, Honkai or Genshin, to kind of just be kind of like that third child in a way. It's just kind of like, you know, let it do its own thing. Let them do their own, kind of not take the spotlight, basically. Because from what I've been hearing is that a lot of the issues with Hoyoverse are usury people have with Hoyoverse are usually more focused on Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, whereas Zenless is like this, just like this one game that the one game that, like, you don't see it get this amount of drama. I guess you don't see the amount of drama. It doesn't get that amount of drama, and you always get the sense that the developers have a much deeper care. They probably care way more about what they're doing and what they're implementing. So, and I haven't even went into the whole 2.0. I haven't experienced the whole 2.0 update, and I'll try to when I get the time. I will try to when I get the time. It's just, you know, between this and, well, let's be honest here. We got let's be honest here. Stellar Blade, the PC edition. It's already preloaded, by the way. My PC edition is already preloaded on it's already preloaded on the on my PC. And we're just waiting for the full update to drop, which will likely be later this morning. I'm guessing later this morning. In fact, I'll probably check again at the end of this stream today. We'll check again to see if the update's finally dropped. But yeah, a lot of my time is going to be spent on that, because I'm probably going to have, I'm guessing with Stellar Blade, I'm probably going to have to do at least 4 playthroughs to get everything. like everything. Like I'm probably gonna have to do at least 4 playthroughs to get full 100 to platinum to get the E protocol achievement, which I plan to. Which that means I will be on my 8th. That means I'll have a total of 8 playthroughs of Stellar Blade by the end of the unless they continue to drop more updates, man. Yeah, the mods is going to be freaking insane. But, you know, not just the mods, but the Nikkei DLC, the new costumes. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the new costumes they put in there. And then I think there's some real banger ones, and ones that I've actually asked for. Let's see. So, and I agree. Nikkei and Azure Lane. I cite Azure Lane as the most. I cite Azure Lane as the godfather of. I cite Azure Lane as the godfather of, the big jiggly waifu gacha games. It's the godfather of it. But here's also a funny thing, and I've noticed this with because I play Snowbreak as well, is that the most fan service heavy gacha games, the goonerest fan service heavy gacha games are ones where end up being ones where the developers actually do care. I mean that. I know. I've noticed that. I legitimately have noticed that. I've even noticed that with Stellar Blade. It's like, I like how the most fan service heavy games are ones that the developers actually have. Those are ironically the games where the developers actually put the players first. Even I've noticed that with Zenless. And I think Zenless is the most fan service heavy content out of all the Hoyoverse games, and yet it seems that the developers actually care. I've noticed that with Nikkei. I've noticed that with Stellar Blade. I've noticed that with Snowbreak. And I'm thinking it's probably the same thing for Azure Lane too. And Girls Frontline. Like, those are heavy on the fan service, heavy on the Gooner content, and yet the developers have, I get the sense that, like, it's like the most it's like, how do I describe it? The most fan service heavy content has the most humble developers. I'm serious. Like, I think that's what it is. It's like the most goonery you make your content, it's like it comes from the most humble developers. It's like, the most fan service heavy. I just thought about that. It's like the most fan service heavy content comes from the most humble developers, though. I just noticed that. It was just like, those are developers that actually put the players first. It's like, damn. It's just funny, you know? Just find it funny, you know? It's like, hey. It's like, oh, the devs actually get it, damn. It's over. They're actually very humble and grateful for their audience. And I'm like, I think that's what it, and I think it's also because I also think it helps that the humble developers are the most niche ones too. The most niche developers are also the most humble ones too. So that probably has that, because it doesn't have that. They're probably understanding it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that major mainstream appeal. The Gooner content may not have that mainstream appeal, but yet it makes you humble, though. It makes you humble and treat your audience right. And it's like, that's part of the reason why I stuck with Snowbreak for the long. That's pretty much the reason why I stuck with Snowbreak for the longest time, because the devs actually put the players first. most. It was and like I always cite Snowbreak because it was a rare instance where actually going the fan service route ended up saving your game. Yeah, it saved the game from being a mess. And I think there's a fine line to it, though. I think there's a fine line. And I think there's a fine line to how you kind of approach that, though. You know? And I think it's one of the reasons why I've backed Stellar Blade so much is that and I brought this up over the weekend. In my list of games that I'm looking forward to, in that list that I put up there, a lot of them were fans. So let's be honest here. A lot of them were, you know, a good chunk of them are fan service heavy, fan service focused on making very appealing, very attractive female characters. However, it's not when I look at Azure Vermilia, when I look at Silver Palace, when I look at Wu Chang, when I look at Stellar Blade, when I look at Tides of Annihilation, yeah, it's fan service with substance. That's what I call it, fan service with substance. And when I say that is that I think having an appealing character, having games with appealing character designs is one thing, but having games with appealing character designs and gameplay and solid, and that it turns out it's a solid game to back it up, that's a threat. That is a legitimate threat. And that's how I saw with Stellar Blade, is that it's more than just a pretty face. Like, I legitimately love this game. I wouldn't be doing like so many playthroughs of it if I didn't love this game. And I legitimately do. And I legitimately think it's a good game. I legitimately think it's a solid game. You know? I can look at Tides of Annihilation. I think it's a solid game. I think it's going to be a freaking solid game. I think it's that you have that substance. You have that substance to back it up. You have the good game to back that up. And I'm hoping that Mecha Break has that staying power. Because the character creation system is sick. The gameplay is fun as hell. And I'm hoping that, you know, they really make the right moves and not fall into the pitfalls of what you expect from a live service game. You know? You got to. You really, really got to. And that's part of the reason why I think having fan service with substance matters, because if you have just fan service, you're gonna fall into the trap that we saw with the First Descendant, where there's just not enough content. It is a pretty face. It is a completely pretty face, but there's just not enough content to keep you invested. And for a live service looter shooter, you need to have that content to stay. And I'm hoping that with I'll take this down. I'm hoping that with, you know, I guess whatever the next season of the First Descendant is, the Breakpoint or something like Breakthrough or something like that, I'm hoping that it provides enough content to keep players invested for a long amount of time. I'm serious. I do want First Descendant to last as long as Warframe, to last as long as Destiny 2, to have that staying power. But it really needs the content it really needs that evergreen content to continue staying, because you look at how long Warframe has been going on. and it's just freaking amazing. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of like, that's what to strive for. I always cite, I do cite Warframe as a shining example of live service done right, and how you make a live service game last as long as Warframe has, last as long as Destiny 2 has. But the problem with, but Destiny 2 definitely has issues with, you know, the way they sunset content that people already paid for and stuff like that. But no, the game you're looking, the game I was mentioning, that's exactly, and I think that for the first Descendant to have that long staying power, it needs to do the same. It probably needs to do the same as Warframe. It probably needs to learn from how Warframe keeps its players invested for years. It's like the foundation is there. It's clear that the foundation is there. There's a foundation. It's faulty. It's just you got to get on. You got to really make those changes that players need, players want. You really got to address that before your game ends up becoming end of service, before your game sunsets. It's like, no, and I listen to the dev live streams. I listen to the dev live streams from time to time, and that the developers really do care. Like, there's no doubt about it. The developers really, really do care. They do care. No, let's not. It's just, yeah. You gotta make the right decisions. You have to make sure you make the right decisions at putting the players first. FF11 came back with a Final Fantasy 11, bro. FF11 came back. You mean, I'm thinking you're probably thinking of FF14. No, Final Fantasy, bro. Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 is like that's like the bar. Okay, that is the bar of that is how you revive. That is how you not only make a comeback, but make a comeback so much, but come back so strong that years later, you're still at the top of the MMO charts. You're still at the top. Like, that's like an instruction. Like, Final Fantasy 14 is like an instruction manual on how to bring your game back from the dead and become a hit for years to come. Mars, good morning to you. I'm just saying, man. That's you ain't wrong. And like, No Man's Sky is another example. No Man's Sky is a great example of a comeback. You know, and I think so many games out there. I think, in my humble opinion, I think a lot of when you see a lot of games that become like buggy messes at launch and become a disaster at launch, and then they want to try to pull a No Man's Sky and make this huge comeback, and it never works out. I think a lot of it comes, and I do think it comes down to everybody wants their game to be a No Man's Sky comeback, but not understanding, not learning exactly what made No Man's Sky come back the way it did, become that comeback hit the way it did. Nobody doesn't learn that. You know, a lot of the games out there that have these buggy messes at launch, and their game ends up sunsetting and stuff like that. You need to learn exactly what made No Man's Sky come back, what made Final Fantasy 14 come back the way it did. And Mars, I'm referring to the first Descendant. And then I do like the game, but it's lacking in content. And I think that, the first Descendant needs to seriously learn from Warframe, learn from the likes of Warframe, learn from the likes of like Destiny 2, in how to keep your player base going for years. And the biggest problem with the First Ascendant is the lack of content, especially the lack of evergreen content, you know? Yeah, and it's the other possibility. It's the whole, we're going to release it now and fix the problems later mentality. And that's what damages that's really does what damages your game. That mentality damages your game real bad. And that is a mentality that this industry needs to get away from, like right now. You need to stop having these buggy messes of a launch and just come with this, oh, we'll fix it later. No, fix that shit now. Now. Delay the game if you need to, but you need to fix that now. And that's why I have to give another cap. That's why it's another feather in Stellar Blade's cap, because I privated my streams. I privated my Stellar Blade streams, both my playthroughs. But the first playthrough I did a Stellar Blade live, I played it before the day one patch. I played it before the day one patch. And so the reason is because the day one patch was obviously the censorship. That was where some of the clothes ended up getting altered. Some of the outfits, such as Cybernetic Bondage and the Holiday Bunny outfit, got altered. And I know there's a whole controversy with the whole censorship. And I still side with Deb, Short Fat Otaku, in that I assume that the costumes that ended up getting censored during the day one patch was due to licensing, because some of the outfits in some of Eve's nanosuits in Stellar Blade were taken from real outfits. And the fashion industry in South Korea is much more complicated, and licensing is way more complicated in South Korea than it is here in the States. So I think a lot of that is very much so a licensing thing. So I think that probably makes a lot more sense. Now, you could still argue that yes, Sony was meddling in that, and I mean that's not a bad argument either. Sony has been meddling. It's meddling. I'm not denying that, but I think it is more of the licensing issue, especially with how complicated licensing is in South Korea. And South Korea is heavy into fashion. So into fashion too, so understand that. So no, but I played my first playthrough of Stellar Blade, and I did it live on the channel. It's hidden now. But my first playthrough, I did it pre-day one patch. So that means to get the pre-day one. If you want to get the pre-day one patch, you have to have a physical copy. You have to have a physical copy, and you have to do a workaround to not get Sony. You basically have to turn off automatic updates for your PS5 every time you boot up Stellar Blade. You have to turn off automatic updates. You have to go offline. That way you can play the game. That's the only way you can play the game pre-day one patch. And the reason I bring this up is because pre-day one patch, I played through the whole game pre-day one on my first playthrough. I did not experience any bug or glitch at all. I didn't see any signs of any bugs or glitches. And this is pre-day one patch. And I heard that, and I think I also heard that Black Myth Wukong, and I don't know if you guys can, I don't know if anybody, Sean is in the chat, or anybody in the chat can confirm with me on this one. I did hear that Black Myth Wukong had very little to no bugs or glitches at launch. If anybody can confirm with that with me and let me know. But yeah, but Starblade pre-day one patch had 0 bugs or glitches. I did not see a single one. So like, focus on making the game. It was technically sound. I think that's also the thing. It was so technically. The few channels I watched, they had none. Oh, so even, are you referring to Black Myth Wukong? If that's the case, then yeah, Black Myth Wukong is another, yeah, that's another game. It came out at launch, had no bugs or glitches. Very little bugs or glitches. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So, okay, thank you, Mars. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, then. Now that I know. So, Black Myth Wukong, Starblade, they came out day one, very little to no bugs or glitches. Whereas compared to a lot of other games out there that have all these bugs and glitches day one, and it's like, and it's just like, yeah, it's just crazy, man. Oh, this is the gun, bro. Okay. So that's interesting. That is very interesting to know, man. Thank you. So yeah, it's like, but this whole, you know, let me get back on track. This whole release it now and then we'll fix it later, that's hurt a lot of games in this generation and in the previous generation. That's hurt a lot of games. So I think we need to, so I think the industry seriously needs to move away from that. And let's be honest, also not only that, but you know, Starblade and Black Myth Wukong, they felt like complete games. It never felt like content was locked behind DLC or microtransactions. It felt like a complete game. You felt like you're getting a full experience out of the box. And I think Baldur's Gate 3 was also Baldur's Gate 3 is another one where you basically got a full experience out of the box. So yeah, that's a feather. That's definitely another feather in what's his name? Larian Studios cap too. Releasing a full experience. So I think this whole, you know, this whole release now and then we'll fix it later mindset has got to go. Because more often than not, it leads to your game having bad sales. It leads to your game shutting down. It leads to all of these things. Like, not every game can be a No Man's Sky. Like, I think that's have to come into it. The industry needs to learn that not every, like, what happened with Final Fantasy XIV and No Man's Sky, and even with Cyberpunk, those are few and far in between. Those are few and far in between. Not every game is going to have that pleasure of making a comeback like that. And yes, I am putting Cyberpunk. Oh, sorry about that. I can't turn off Discord notifications. I am so sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I am putting Cyberpunk in that list. And I think it's well deserving, and I think it's finally deserved to be on that list because it made, after an incredibly disastrous launch, especially on last gen consoles, which is what I've experienced. CD Projekt Red had to rebuild their reputation. So they stuck with the game for like what, 4 years? Up until the Phantom Liberty expansion? They've stuck with it. They didn't, they didn't ban it because it was because a game that big was going to have a disaster like that, and they had to rebuild their reputation, and they didn't have a choice to rebuild. They didn't have a choice. But you know what? They came back. Cyberpunk came back. It came back in a big way. You know, it made a mammoth of a comeback. You know, when I first played Cyberpunk, I had the displeasure of playing the last gen version. The version that they promised, they said, like, this game runs surprisingly well on PS4, on last gen consoles. And I couldn't handle the bugs. I couldn't deal with the bugs and the constant crashing. Yeah. I got rid of my game, I sold it, and I didn't think about it for about another 4 years. But I did always tell myself that, you know, when I have a PC that I could be able to you know, run it, I want to give Cyberpunk a second chance. But this time, play it the way it was meant to be played, on PC. And, you know, it was thanks to me getting the confidence, I want to say, you know, I looked up the specs and I was like, okay, it looks like my PC can run it at its basic setting, so maybe we could take a chance at it. I got an SSD, 4 terabyte SSD for Christmas. Well, 4 terabyte SSD for a solid state drive for Christmas, so that's where I put all my games there. And it was thanks to a YouTuber named GKCH, that I bought Cyberpunk on a I forgot what my brand was, but it was like a 3 or 4 terabyte SSD solid state drive. But it was easy. It was actually easy to install. I didn't realize that, but it was easy to install. So I was able to install my RAM. That's why I have 32 gigs of RAM on my PC. So, but no, it was easy to install. I got Cyberpunk on the Steam Winter Sale, and then I spent all of Christmas night. I spent all of Christmas night installing like the necessary mods I needed, the mods that they recommended, like all of the quality of life mods, such as the Red Engine, Red Engine tweaks, Cyber Engine tweaks, the essentials that you need for the game for the mods to work. And then I booted up Cyberpunk for the second time. I gave it a second chance, and after after 180 hours over 1,100 mods, and at about 1,700 photos taken later, I can safely, and I haven't even finished my first playthrough either, but I can safely say with confidence that Cyberpunk on the PS4 was one of the worst experiences, one of the worst video games I've experienced. It was one of my worst video game experiences. Dustborn. Succeeded by Dustborn, obviously. However, Cyberpunk 2077 on PC with mods, it is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, I genuinely love this game. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've never had so much fun with mods before. I'm happy. You guys seen the post? You guys, I will be making. I'll make another story post later today. So check the community tab later. I will make another story post. I know I've been wait for the story post, but the story. You guys have seen the story post I've been making because I have had so much fun with. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. You guys have seen the story post, and I have so much fun with. That is one of the best. I am legitimately mean that. I think that modded Cyberpunk has hands down one of the best photo modes I've experienced. Hands down. Just the amount of mods for photo mode alone is just what makes it so worthwhile. And it kicks me every time that I would love that this game was third person. If it was natively third person. This game should have been third person because just it's incredible. It is fucking incredible. I love it. Like I will play for hours on end. I will play for hours and hours on end, man. All those photos you took, look at it, dude. I love it, man. I love taking those photos, and you know I'm learning because I'm learning to try to make it look as professional too, and I love doing it in the fact that it allows me to do it's the fact that it allows you to turn on photo mode at literally almost any moment in the game. You can turn on photo mode, especially during the cutscenes, especially during dialogue scenes, so you can see it from different angles. I love that. I love it. I'm like, I love it. I love it. And you know, PC be that. But to answer Sean's question, let me look up. Device manager. Open device manager. Look. Okay, device manager. Device manager. Device manager. Display adapters. Okay. I got an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Super. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Super. That's what I got from. That's just the base one. It's the base GPU if I had this. As far as graphics card, I think it's NVIDIA. It's AMD Ryzen 5 3600, which I think that's good enough for me. That's going to be good enough for me. I won't be there, Bandito. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's. I know it's not like what you guys got, but it's good enough for me. It's good enough for me, and I think because I have the solid, because I have that Samsung solid 3 gig, like 3 or 4 gig solid state drive, that helps too. So. I can't get a full 60 on Cyberpunk, but you know I can get to 45. I enjoy it at 45 frames per second. There's some modes where it'll jump up to 60 and then we'll jump down to like 20 or 30, but it keeps it at like 45 to 50 most of the time, and I just enjoy that. I just have fun with that. That's good enough. I'm like, that's good enough for me. Good enough for me, you know. Smooth. It's just, I think my thing with Cyberpunk is that, and what helps is that I don't have any other windows open, so I try to close all my windows, and that's why I've gotten used to watching all my YouTube videos on my Samsung tablet at home. I just rather have that on my Samsung tablet instead of a second window, so that means I can, that means it allows me to focus more. It actually helps me focus more. The fact that I have fact that I'm watching, fact that I watch YouTube on my Samsung tablet versus watching it on my PC. So it helps my focus. It actually helps me focus more. So surprisingly, but yeah, it's not much. I understand it's not much, but it's good enough for me. I can't complain. I really can't complain about I can't complain about my experience with Cyberpunk. You're gonna get stuck. Riot Kitty. Right now, Riot Kitty. Riot Kitty. Girl. I'm just waiting for them to turn on allow me to hit that play button, okay? I'm just waiting for them to let me hit that play button, okay? Yes. And this is the complete edition. This is the complete edition. I know it doesn't say it on there, but this is the complete edition. Yes, I have the complete edition. So, yeah. That means the Nier DLC, so that means the Nier DLC and everything, it's all on there. Everything's on there now. So I have the complete edition. So it is already installed. Wait. Yeah, see? Yeah, I have the complete edition in my library. The only thing I need is so I'm just waiting. So I'm assuming the update's probably going to drop later today. I'm assuming they're probably going to drop later this morning. They'll be like, okay, green light to turn on the update, and I could start playing. Because I'm assuming that my YouTube feed is going to be blowing up with Stellar Blade videos later today. Just watch. I'm just watch, and I'm gonna check my PS5 and see if if they drop the update for Stellar Blade. If not, it will be ready for me when I get home tonight. I am going to check out I'm gonna check out all of the DLC I'm gonna check out all the update content on the PS5 version. However, the PC version, I'm gonna wait until Saturday. We'll run it Saturday. I'm hoping. So there's already a Vortex. Let me bump this up. So there's already a Vortex mod manager. I think there's already a mod manager set up for Stellar Blade, which I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna double check on that one. But I think Vortex might have one set up for Stellar Blade. So that way, that could be an easier way to put your mods in there. So Vortex. So there's one so Vortex has one for Stellar Blade. So we're just waiting for that. I'm gonna look at I know how to install the mods. I have Ayaka mods. I'm gonna use first before I use Nexus later, because I can guarantee you any mods that Nexus bans for this game will probably show up in Ayaka mods. So they show up in Ayaka mods. So I'm hoping that there is a mod manager for Stellar Blade real soon, so that way it could be much easier to just load up all the mods and just boot it up. Easy way to manage all your mods and such like that. So yeah, it is, to answer your question, yes. And like I said, I'm going to be double dipping because I've been checking the Amazon. I've been checking Amazon wish lists. I've been checking my Amazon store and stuff like that. And well, Grumpy, like I said, Nexus is going to be my last resort. Nexus will be my last resort. I use Nexus mods for Cyberpunk. I will look at other sites before I use Nexus beforehand. Like, for example, Game Banana. That's where I get my Zenless mods from. So, So hope that answers your question. So I know the situation, and I'm really hoping that Ayaka mods. I'm really hoping that Ayaka mods continues to grow, because I follow them on Twitter, by the way. I hope they continue to grow. I hope that Ayaka mods continue to grow, and they become a viable alternative. I'm hoping that a lot of these modding sites start growing and becoming a viable alternative to Nexus, because Nexus can't be the only game in town anymore. Most of it, yeah, and it clearly is with Cyberpunk. It's definitely for convenience. But I'm waiting, man. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I think for what the mods that we have seen have been truly insane. So the floodgates are going to open once the game launches. The floodgates are going to be opening. I'm definitely going to be looking for like genuine quality of life improvements. There's already a couple of mods out there that help fix performance for low-end PCs. They do help. There are already mods out there that help fix performance for low-end PCs, so that you can have a stable 60 at all times, which is really cool. There's going to be reshade. There's going to be legitimate reshade, like genuine reshade mods. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody really tries to pull a Dreampunk 2. What we saw with Dreampunk 3.0, and do a completely like realistic, like a photorealistic like reshade of Stellar Blade. Realistic. Man, that would be insane. And there's going to be a mod that's going to uncensor all of the content from the day one patch as well. There's going to be mods that's going to uncensor all of that. Which I do have to put a cap in Snowbreak's. That's a cap in Snowbreak's feather though, because with that game, because it's a CN game, it's Chinese developers, they have to deal with censorship, and there was a huge drama with them having to sunset a lot of their costumes. But one thing they did, the fan base is solid, was that the developers, they low-key gave you a way to uncensor the game. They did it low-key. They released it's not a mod, but it's a simple how-to guide to uncensor Snowbreak moving forward. And all you have to do is change the localization number in the game's files from 0 to 1. And your entire game will be uncensored for future updates. For every update moving forward, the game is uncensored, and the developers themselves actually secretly put that in there, low key. I'm like, bro, that's awesome. That's what you call looking out for. That's how you look out for your audience. Like, yeah, we're just gonna low key tell you. We're just gonna low key give you a little trick on PC how to uncensor your game, and on Android too. I forgot to mention. Sean, Don't ever show that to me again. Don't ever show that to me again, you son of a bitch. Bro, don't you ever show that to me again. God, that was awful. Oh. Don't you ever show that to me again. I saw that. I was like, what the fudge? You are more than, you know what? It's PC. So, you know, you're more than welcome. You know what? You can make it. You know what? You can make any mod you want to. That don't mean I'm gonna buy. That don't mean I'm gonna download it. But what the hell? Because it raises a lot of ethical questions. Because it makes it. Because it just raises a lot more questions on how does an Android ADOS get pregnant? How do Android ADOSs get pregnant, basically? And I'm like, because you don't realize. Okay, for those who don't understand, for those who did get the spoiler Starblade, Eve turns out they're robots. They're robots, basically. Which that opens up the whole thing with Nikke, and it did beg the question: do Nikkes have artificial wombs? And from what I was guessing, of course, with Maxwell being so up in front about this, is that there is a way that the central government can actually create artificial wombs within Nikkes, because Nikkes are robots too. They're all robots. So there's actually a way to make it so that you're it's like, yeah, if I was the commander, I would not be signing up for that. I'm like, no. We're not gonna repopulate the Earth, okay? To have artificial, because Nikkes do have because Nikkes do have, and like Android ADOS and stuff, ways that they do have organs. They do have human organs, basically kind of fused with robotic technology, basically. And it's like a mixture of both. And I think, if I'm correct, the internal organs of a Nikke is all artificial too. It's like it's all made from scratch or something like that. So, and I think the same thing is with Android ADOS, is that and that because they can bleed, because Nikkes can bleed. But they also have the ability to turn off their pain receptors too. They can also turn off their pain receptors, so they can't feel anything. Pain. Let's see horror, for example. No, it's so funny. It was just something to think about. I'm like, especially if you pull for Maxwell, who is basically all about, creating, who's very scientific, who's basically a science nerd, and she is straight up about creating artificial, and she is all for creating artificial wombs for breeding. Breeding Nikkes. It's wonderful. My response will be, I can't. Yeah, I probably can't. Unless I get to pick. Unless you allow me to pick which Nikke I'm allowed to, There's another video I gotta watch, and it's like the most. I think it was like, it's a video that goes over like out of all the Nikkeis, who is the most lustful Nikke out for the commander? And it's like there's a lot. Because it's not good. Because in some cases, there's like a romance tier list for Nikkeis too. So it's contrary to belief. You thought. Because let's put it this way. Let's put this way with Nikke. Let's put it this way with Nikke. At least, I want to say at least. I want to say a good 65% of Nikke's roster wants to bang you in some way, shape, or form. Wants to bang you. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. You know. Basically, some kind of human. Oh my god, some kind of like human Nikke hybrid, because it's like, because it's a funny thing. It's because funny thing about like kind of like the whole Nikke program, because it's like Nikke's story, like for being fan service heavy, for being Gunner heavy, is very dark, very dark, especially with how these young girls become a lot of the young girls become Nikkeis, become robots, usually of not a lot of them usually don't become Nikkeis by choice. Wait, so a lot of it is by certain situations, by certain stipulations and such like that. Like I explained once more of like when I found that one of the most endearing characters in Nikke I found was Annie, because her freaking backstory is so because she has such a tragic backstory, and I didn't realize how tragic Rappy's backstory is too. Sounds a lot like PGR, yeah. You know what, Neo, I'm thinking about it. That shit is canon to me. That is canon. There's no. You think about all the Nikkes. You think about all the Nikke. Yes, they're human first. From what I recollect, it's human girls that were around, usually in their late teens to early to mid 20s, who would have to they're usually human girls in their late teens to early 20s who become Nikkes, who become soldiers out of their, usually out of choice, usually not out of choice, usually out of certain situations that they have to in order to survive. Some Nikkes do it by choice. Some thinking that, some probably think that, they would probably have better living conditions within the arc and such like that. Some Nikkes are just built from scratch, and some of them are completely, if you follow some of the recent stories, some of the Nikkes are defected too, meaning that they don't have any like tangible, aside from just kind of like basic human motoring skills. They don't have any tangible talents, so they can't be assigned. So in some ways you kind of end up with Nikkes like Mori, who become defected, that they don't have a squad because Mori doesn't have any like talents per se. They can't put her in a tangible squad. In other words, you're like, then on the other side of the coin, you have Rappy, who was basically, if you followed her, the walk step run event, that Rappy, she was basically death incarnate, in that every single squad that she was in, her squad mates would die every time. So she would just jump from squad to squad. The squad at the time. and why, and probably, and you know, and it also goes into the fact that her time with her time spent with Red Hood opens up a lot of plot twists. Actually opens up a lot of very interesting plot twists, and I don't know if they're going to be able to resolve though, because for one, you know, there's actually a way to save humanity. In the Nikkei universe, there is actually a way to save the human race, and it's by dooming the Ark, the last human civilization. That's the only way to stop the Rapture invasion, is to actually destroy the Ark. But the other thing is that when Nikkeis can be corrupted by Raptures, Nikkeis can be corrupted, and you know, it's almost like a parasite. It's almost like a tumor or something like that. And Red Hood was corrupted by Raptures. So when a Nikkei is usually corrupted, they go AWOL. And you have to go through a memory wipe. You have to go through, and it's a very interesting kind of like, it's a very interesting, rather complicated way on how Nikkeis are able to think and act. You know, how Nikkeis are able to think and act, and how they can't, they're basically, it's built in their programming that they cannot attack humans. Anyway, they can't. It's literally built in their program that they can't attack humans. But because it deals with their nymph, because it deals with the nymph, which is a very crucial part in how a Nikkei is able to function and operate. So, but it's a very interesting thing. But one of the bigger plot twists that I learned from the Footstep Walk Run event is that Nikkeis can shapeshift. And that was something that Elysian, they had to hide that. Once they found out that Rappy has the soul of Rappy was carrying basically the soul of Red Hood, who is one of the original the first generation Nikkeis, one of the original the OG Goddess squad. Once they found out that Rappy could shapeshift into Red Hood, and it opens up that whole thing where Nikkeis can have the ability to shapeshift into other people, into other Nikkeis, into other people. That's something that they had to hide. They had to hide that story. They had to hide that completely, because that shit cannot go out to the public, because, you know, humanity's savior can also be humanity's threat, and that could push Nikkeis to that could make Nikkeis a huge threat. You know, the whole thing with them acting on their own and wanting to destroy humanity and such like that, because it is a post-apocalyptic scenario. Nani's digital reincarnation. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world. The Nikkei universe is crazy. And it's very in-depth, too. It's very in-depth. Like, holy shit. It's like, how... It's crazy, isn't it? Which I haven't gotten that farther into the story though, but I do want to know. But I do want to. I don't know if anybody else in the chat has probably gone much further into Nikkei's story than I have, but I do want to know why it was always females that was become Nikkeis. Why there's very little very little recordings of actual male Nikkeis. I always wondered about that. It was just very curious. I was always curious about that. Become soldiers. It's like, And part of me thinks, I'm like, maybe it's just kind of like that symbol of hope, though. Why not? Maybe it's a symbol of hope, though. You know, it's kind of a funny thing because there was a. It's funny. I always think about that sometimes, but it's really freaking crazy though. It's a really complicated. It's a really deep. It's crazy because Nikkei is straight up the example of you. It's not only fan service with substance, but it is literally you come for the plot and you end up staying for the plot. Because Nikkei's story is really because Nikkei's lore is really interesting, and it's really and you really get into it. It's like, yeah, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of well-written moments here, man. I'm like, it's always a fun, and I'm hoping, and I always wonder myself, when I think that day that Nikkei becomes the day that Shift Up sunsets Goddess of Victory Nikkei, I do hope that they work to a conclusion, because I want to see if they're able to actually reclaim the surface. Who's gonna reclaim the surface? Yeah, exactly. The devil's in the detail. Talk about Claymore the enemy. Oh yeah. First instincts go full power. That might be the case. That might be something to think about. That's what's cool about that. With Stellar Blade, it was the case. Stellar Blade. It was the case of. It was basically Terminator. Stellar Blade was basically Terminator. Raphael Marx built Mothersphere as an AI, and she just took over. She felt that Mothersphere felt that the humans that her bred of humans were the next step in human, and that Andro Ados's have been Andro Ados were the real successors of the human race, and it basically through Mothersphere they wiped out most, if not all, of humanity, because Mothersphere believed that Andro Ados, this super sentient AI, believed that Andro Ados were the true successors to the human race, because they're humans with, because when in reality they're all robots. And in this, in the world of Stellar Blade, Adam is literally the last human being left on Earth. He is the only human being, like the only organic human being. Every other human being has either died off or become an Atiba. And, it went through the whole... It basically went through... Humans had to go underground, and they had to resort to bioengineering in order to combat the Andro Ados, and that's where the Natibas were born. And that's where the Natibas were born, because because Adam is the only human. Adam is the only human to survive the experiments, to actually be able to survive those experiments. And, it realizes that, he completely fucked up the entire universe, because it led to what was created as the final war, the final war for humanity between the Natibas and Andro Adoses, and then led to a catastrophic event that pretty much destroyed most of the Earth, called the colony extinction, where, you know, Mother Sphere started building colonies beyond Earth's atmosphere. She started building up colonies for Android ADOS's to for her Android ADOS humans to be able to find as a safe place and be under her watchful eye. And because certain Android ADOSs weren't selected, weren't chosen to be up there with Mother Sphere, they had to fight and survive the Naytibas, who took over most of the Earth after the final war. And it led to the colony extinction. It led to basically the whole it led to why Spire 4 is the only orbital elevator still working after all this time. There are 4 orbital elevators around the world, and Spire 4 is the only orbital elevator left after the final war and the colony extinction. Adam, which I do want to get into a further explanation on how there's a very mystic essence to the bioengineering because of Adam being successful and having all these kind of powers and such like that. And if it wasn't blatantly obvious, Stellar Blade has a lot of Christian undertone, has a lot of references to the Bible. Obviously with Adam and Eve, Zion, of course, of course, the same god being named after Zion. What was it? When you if you pick the destroy humanity ending and you beat Adam, if you kill Adam, in the ending it shows the colonies that are orbiting around the Earth in the same way as the what was it called? What was it? The Eye of what was it called? Because Stellar Blade is based on the Bible, actually. And of course, Adam, Eve, Lilith, and all this stuff. I forgot what it was named after. Oh, I need to get ready for work. Okay, let me find. Let me go into. There's a channel I follow called Enlisted Naytiba that goes deep into Stellar Blade's lore. Unlisted Naytiba. Yeah, it's a great channel that goes deep into Stellar Blade's lore. And they also went into lore with Doom too, or Doom in the other games as well. But let me explain. Black Myth Wukong's lore. They're a lore channel basically.
I kinda adore you, but don't get too proud. You're like my favorite snack. I won't say it out loud. I won't say you're perfect. We don't know.
But this, I forgot what it was named after. But a lot of the stuff that you see in in Stellar Blade there's a lot of biblical references, such as Providence, such as even the Demogorgon up in space. You know, and then also I do like that. And I do like that the final boss, that Adam being the final boss, and that you see his true form, and that he's the Elder Naytiba, but he has this huge angel tattoo on him, and that's where his wings come at, and that's where he gets his angel wings from. It's very Sephiroth. There's a lot of Sephiroth going. There's a lot of one-winged angel going on here at Stellar Blade. except Adam doesn't have one wing, he has 3 wings. But his yeah, so there's a lot of holy references in Stellar Blade. I love it though. I love it. It's not something to kind of like, it's not something to like think way too deep into, but it's really it does a good job of setting up the lore. But I like how it sets up the lore though. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Hang on. Also, I would subscribe to Unlisted Atiba if you're into Black Myth Wukong, because he goes deep into the lore around Black Myth Wukong as well. But, yeah. But the thing is that with Stellar Blade, very Revelations type content. Yeah, very Revelation, very New Testament. Revelations, yeah. I think, and the thing is that, you know, I love Stellar Blade's story because throughout the entire game, Eve is even though Adam is really, you know, Adam is the one who's kind of pulling all the strings, and you find out, and you start pulling the pieces together that it really is Adam who was the one who caused all of this. But the thing that I like about Stellar Blade's story was that throughout this whole playthrough, what Adam was doing was showing Eve what it means to be human. Because she wants her, because Eve has become, because the whole airborne squadron, the whole Eve protocol program, the whole program, you know, the Andro Adoses have advanced in the 70 plus years since the final war and the colony extinction. Andro Adoses have advanced so far, and with Eve being the 7th Airborne Squadron, she has become, Eve is basically Eve is the ultimate Andro Ados, kind of like the true apex, and with Adam being the only Natiba who hasn't succumbed to his natural instinct. He wanted Eve to fuse together. He knew that Eve was the one he needed to for this experiment to work, to save humanity. But the thing that I like about it was that instead of Adam kind of just telling Eve outright, he shows Eve, what it means to be human. Because she's never been, because Eve has never, because as an Andro Ados, they're not humans. They never experience what it means to actually be a human being. It's all, it's all been artificial. And I like that was Eve's entire journey is to learn how to be a human being, how to act human, And for Adam, he wants atonement. He knew how screwed up he did, because you basically doomed all of humanity. You doomed you basically set our entire human race extinction because of you, because of what you did, because you created Mother Sphere, because it's that whole vestige of, just because you can create a powerful AI doesn't mean you should. And we see those sci-fi stories time and time again of AIs become so intelligent that they become rogue and just end up destroying humanity. Yeah, that was basically the case here. But I like that it's just like, Eve is, but the whole thing, you realize that as you play through the entire story, and especially if you look through all the codexes and everything, you start to slowly piece together that everything that Mother Sphere has been telling you was a lie. She has been hiding the truth this whole time. And she is the real antagonist in the entire universe. The real antagonist. So, what I like for the sequel, is that now that Eve has become the ultimate human, ultimate Naytiba Andrew Ados hybrid, she is the next step for the human race, which means that Zion, the last city on Earth, has a protector, and then now they can start over and rebuild the human race again. And what I like for the sequel is for Eve to basically just issue an all-out war against Mother Sphere. That she wants to stop Mother Sphere now, because they're going to do a sequel, and it's likely going to be in 2026 or 2027. So I'm excited about that. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Get ready for work. You guys have been freaking amazing. Today is going to be a crazy day because I'm going to be looking at my YouTube feed is going to be full of Stellar Blade content because of the PC launches today. Tomorrow is the Nikkei collaboration, which I am saving all my tickets up for, of course. The Nikkei collab, which I'm saving all my tickets up for. One of the biggest I'm very excited about this week. We'll be back on Friday, of course, and then we'll also be back on Saturday night for the PC playthrough of Stellar Blade, which we'll be running through that. I'm very excited about that. What? Oh shit. Okay. So we have some layoffs. The team behind Days Gone was hit with massive layoffs, and the team behind Days Gone was hit with massive layoffs, and apparently the team's been hit with massive layoffs. Of course, Splitgate 2 bending the knee. Splitgate 2 developer bends the knee. Mind's Eye is a freaking joke. Mind's Eye is a freaking joke at this point. So not so obviously, but we found this. Where is it? Where is it? No, it's not Match Ranger. What is it? Yeah. So apparently this happened
with Marathon, and not too many people are talking about this, and I find it kind of interesting because this is pretty huge news considering the nonsense that happened with Marathon not only just a few weeks ago, where people were calling them art raiders because they decided that it was in their best interest to steal art from an artist, not once, not twice, but this is like the 5th or 4th time that Bungie and Marathon has decided to steal art, and this time seemingly use it to create their entire identity for their brand new game Marathon. Well, if you guys remember the live stream that happened with the creative director, the white guy who wanted to off himself because he was just basically sitting there as the punching bag, having to admit that he stole art and pretend like, oh, we didn't know who did it. It was a former employee. Yeah, he no longer works here. The scapegoat, right? That particular guy, he apparently is no longer going to be the creative director for the game. Apparently this happened last month and nobody seems to be talking about it. Well, we're going to change that today and start the conversation. So before we do, guys, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please consider
if members, you get one of my mods can put a link to Hypnotic's video. If they could put a link to Hypnotic's video in the description, in the chat, let us know. But yeah, apparently the creative director, who was basically kind of to blame for the whole art stealing scandal in Marathon, he was replaced. Yeah, that was Hypnotic. So yeah. Just if mods, Grumpy or Power, if you could put Hypnotic's video in the chat, and I'm gonna watch this later. So this is gonna be interesting. Okay. So yeah. Well, I still think Marathon needs to be scrapped. I think Marathon needs to be scrapped and start over. I'm serious. I think Marathon needs to be scrapped and start over because this is. And Bungie's gonna be hit with massive layoffs, regardless of what happens. Regardless of the state of, regardless of what happens, Bungie's gonna be hit with massive layoffs. Because you can't blunder this bad. This is almost on the level of Concord. Concord, yeah. All right. So we'll see. And by the way, Firewalk Studio was made by former Bungie developers too. Yeah. By the way, yeah. Firewalk Studios was made. Firewalk Studios was comprised of former Bungie devs too. So another one. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is gonna be the nail in the coffin for Marathon. They need to do a realm. They need to start over completely from scratch. They need to completely start over from scratch. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If not, just scrap the game completely. Anyway, I'll be working on Miyabi today. I'm gonna try to get the background. I'm gonna try to finish up the background and get started on the lighting today. And then we might be getting close to finishing it though. I feel like I'm at like 60% done with this one, so stay tuned for that. So, anyway, guys, thank y'all so much. Smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle as well. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Major thank you to JSW. Major thank you to Jay for becoming a CSF Nation member at the ambassador tier. Jay, if you're watching, thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the goods. Hope you enjoy the new stuff. Enjoy the new stuff coming at the end of this month. And we'll be back here Friday for Makini in the morning. And then Saturday will be the Stellar Blade PC playthrough. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of content this month. So stay tuned to Community tab. I'll be posting, I'll post another Cyberpunk story. I'll do another Cyberpunk story post later today. So, because I'm overdue. I missed out on a couple of days on that one. And I'll have some new art posts as well. So that's good stuff. Anyway, I'm Makini 90, art ceramic illustrator, and thank you for starting your hump day with me here on Makini in the morning. Until next time, stay cute, stay sexy, have fun, take care, much love, never apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in video games. And above all else, never stop drawing. Have a great rest of your hump day, guys. The weekend, we're halfway through the week. It's going to be a special Stellar Blade Day. Happy Stellar Blade Day for all my Stellar Blade players. And for JSW, JW, I'm going to leave you with the new Nicole Super Chat. Thank you so much, guys. I love y'all. Until then, peace.
What is going on with you? I belong. You undressed my heart from the very first time. Lay down beside me, give your body to me. Baby, don't let me go. Feel my love from below. I'm gonna give you a tasty secret that's gonna melt in your hand. Oh, just wanna show you that I can love you. Bye-bye, suckers.
cute, sexy, and fun. And that is definitely the best way to describe our channel members too. We'd like to thank everyone in the CSF Nation for your incredible support. Join the channel for as low as $1 a month to get access to exclusive art drops that Makini drops every 2 months for his channel members. And all your support goes to helping out the channel and helping Makini put out the best content he can for you all to view and you all to enjoy. He appreciates all of your support, and we also appreciate your support as well. CSF Nation for life. Mwah! Gracias. Thank you for tuning in to Makini in the Morning and getting your morning started off on the right foot with us. If you enjoy this program, please smack that like button and make a jiggle. Share the show out to everyone you know. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone. Become a channel member for as low as $1 a month. You want to support Makini further, and if you want to see more content from Makini and help him reach his 6K subscriber goal, hit that subscribe button. He would really, really appreciate it. I am Marisa Tali, producer and weather girl for this very program, and we all wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there. We will see you all next time here on Makini in the Morning. Mwah! Makini in the Morning is filmed before a live studio audience at Makini Studios in Arcadia Village's South Tower, right here in Pacific City. We know that you guys love waking up with us here on Makini in the Morning, but if you would like to actually be in the live taping of Makini in the Morning, all you have to do is visit youtube.com/Makini90 or call 765-9077 toll free for free tickets. We would love to see you here in the audience for our next Makini in the Morning live show. Makini in the Morning is produced by Surveyline Productions with Makini Girls Productions in association with Nisla Zapai Television and Makara Banks Entertainment, and is distributed by CSF Nation Domestic Television Distribution.